Deep islands can be a nightmare to fish against, but I'm going to show you a simple tactic to hopefully help you get the better out of these swims. Right, we're here today at Widow's Flash. It's a commercial fishery, but it's got the same problems as a few fisheries where you've got really deep margins and really deep islands. What this lake's got, it's got tins across from you, so it's an island, but it's got metal tins what you're fishing to, and these islands are 3 and 4 foot deep across. But obviously it's a lovely get into summer's day, and all fish don't want to be on that bottom, so we're going to go through a few hints and tips where we can catch these fish shallow, and hopefully we'll show you how to catch a few. Right, so this is the rig. Like I said, we've set up one rig today. We're not fishing for F1s where we need a short little lash between your pole and your float, so we don't need nothing like this. We're fishing for carp, so I can swing my rig round. Obviously if we get the chance to mug a couple, we'll mug a couple. So we've got a bit of versatility in our rig. We've probably got 2 and a bit foot of line there, so we can fish anything from 2 foot deep to 6 inch deep. So I can move that big head float about. It's just a bulk of number 10 shot, 6 inch hook length, and a 20s hook to 014, which you might think is a little bit small, but these carp sometimes, when you're fishing against these tins and islands, they're a bit finicky feeding. We're fishing a 4mm band, and obviously we're rattling 4mm pellets in, so we want to match the hatch with that and hopefully get you a few fish. Right, so we're just going to kick off our session. While we've been talking, I have primed it a little bit by just firing a few 4mm in. Like I said, it's a sunny day today. We're fishing up against an island, so you would expect the sport to be quite instant. What I'm going to do though now is start fishing. We'll see how the peg goes, and we'll see if we can get you a few bites using either a catapult or the pot, and find out which is the best way to catch them. Right, so I'm going to go in, no pot on my pole at the beginning, but I'm going to feed before I go out. Obviously we're fishing up to these tins, so you've got a bit of scope where you've probably got 10 inches of tin out the water, 8 inches of tin out the water, so any pellets what are banging against that bank are all making a noise and they're all falling back on you anyway, so we're trying to make a bit of noise basically. So we're going to get as tight as we can get into them tins, and we're going to feed with a catapult now and see if we can draw a few fish to where we're actually fishing. So I'm just going to keep trickling a few in, pinch your pellets just with a steady rhythm. Obviously try and get them as accurate as you can, but I will go through with you in a minute. See, we had a sign then, so there's a nod in there. Now what I will say, with this lake what we're fishing, you don't tend to get pestered with many silverfish fishing like we're fishing, so you could say that if you're going to catch a fish, you're going to catch a proper fish doing this. So you can see them pellets rattling in. Just keep lifting that rig. Try and make a bit of movement with it. Like I said, we've got a 6 inch hook length on and a bulk, so we've got a bit of movement in the end of the rig. Another indication there then. What I'll try and do this time is hold that float as tight as I can against the end of my pole with my line. Just see if we keep getting an odd indication like that we can't get one to hook itself. Exactly like that one did. That couldn't have worked out any better. And it's not making a run for the aerator. So what I've done, I started a foot deep only because, I'm going to break that down there because this fish is going to weird way. I started foot deep because obviously the sun's on the water. You can see an odd cruiser coming past you, so we know the fish are not deep as such, but you do need to find what depth they're feeding at in them upper layers of water. So starting at a foot is a good starting point for me. Obviously, if I'm not getting many indications, I can go down in the water. I can put a bit of depth on. If I'm getting linered, I can shallow up a bit. But I've got a bit of scope, like I said, with this rig, because we've got 2 foot, 2.5 foot probably a line. We've got that much room to move the float up and down. Like I said, we're fishing for carp, so we're not. I mean, we are finessey, but we're not as finessey as fishing for F1s, where we need to have short lashes and get them to hook themselves, even though we did get that one to hook itself. Right, you're joining us today at a place where it brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. I've fished this lake since I've been able to walk. My dad used to bring me here. We used to fish. It didn't look like it did now. It's been completely revamped. It's a place called Widow's Flash. It's recently been taken over by Gav at Lee Tackle and Bait. He's done wonders with it. He's tidied it all up. It didn't go to ruin, but it got neglected a little bit. And since he's took it over, he's completely revamped the place. If you can see behind me now, there's lads fishing. It's amazing what he's done with the place. But like I said, I've fished this place since I've been a kid. We used to come and fish for different fish. It wasn't carp fishing back then. We were coming fishing for little crucians and tench and roach, whatever you could catch. And since they've took it over, it's been revamped in different stages of its life. Originally, it was an old, I think you'd call it an old pit lake, or not an old quarry lake, an old pit lake, and it was a lot bigger than this originally. The island used to be half the size of what it is now, and it didn't have any pegs or banks or anything like that. And what they did at a certain point, they backfilled it all and put metal shuttering tins all the way around it. I don't quite know how they measured it, but I won't go into that story. But what they've done, they've made it so it's accessible for everybody, and made it so that everybody can fish a pole and reach the island. And made it really, really easy fishing. There's concrete pegs all the way around it, so it's dead easy access. I think originally they made it for a disabled water, where they had access for obviously disabled people, wheelchairs and access, and stuff like that. What they did, they stocked it with a load of carp, but there's loads of different fish in it. There's loads of breams, skimmers, roach. Predominantly you come in trying to catch a few carp, but there's a mixed bag for everybody. And it's a lovely place to come and sit. If you can see behind me, the birds are singing, sun's out. It's just a nice place to be. Right, so we just caught that fish. Obviously that was our first drop in, but what I'm going to do is do exactly the same as what I've just done, that first chuck. So we'll get our sections on. Get yourself ready. Just give it a little bit of food, not loads. A couple of pouches with probably 10 pellets in each, tight as you can get it. And we'll get our rig in. Try and not get all this white fluff what's all over the water on your rig. Right, so we're nearing where we need to be fishing. We've just got that rig in. So I've just fed before, obviously that rig's gone in. So if there were one weight in there, it would have probably had it. I've just had an indication then. Get it off that bit of fluff, come back a tiny bit. Right, so we'll lift and drop that rig. Just see if we can entice one on. Another indication then. Now what I'll say is, if I keep getting indications like that, what we're not hooking, I'll probably come down 4 inches at a time until I stop getting that. Just have one in our peg then. So keep that line tight from your float to your pole. Let's see if we can just hold it, so that if we do get a bite now, it should hook itself. Now it's a good day to do that, because obviously with no wind, we're not getting blown about all over the bank. Just feed twice again. Also, it's worth mentioning, fishing on the deck or on the bottom today, across to them tins, it's between 3 and 4 foot deep. So if you can imagine all the fish, well, 90% of the fish today, obviously it's the warmest day we've had so far. It's a big 20 something degrees. A lot of the fish are in the top layers of water. So if you fished with a rig on the bottom, there's nothing to say you wouldn't catch a few, but you would be plagued with false bites, false indications, line bites, foul up fish. So obviously the way to get around that is to fish above them. Right, so we've just hooked that fish, and it's an angry one at that. What I'm gonna hopefully do is, when we've landed this one, I'm gonna put that big pot on the end of my pole, and I'm gonna hopefully show you. And now that we've got an odd fish in our peg, we can concentrate them fish and get them right where you're fishing. So hopefully that'd lead you to catching them a bit quicker. So strong, these fish. Right, so he's in the net. Like I said, get him unhooked. We'll get that pot on, and hopefully I'll show you how to catch him a little bit quicker. So this is what I was talking about when I said we put the big pot on. What we're going to use, we're using a medium pot with the tight lid. Now what we're going to do, we're going to fill this pot I'll just show you now. We'll fill that pot up, and rather than using the catapult and spreading pellets all over your peg, what we're going to do is use this. So this is our rig, and what we're going to do is tap an odd pellet in, but right where we're fishing, and drop our rig on top of it. So hopefully it'll concentrate them fish into a tighter area, a tighter gap, and we hopefully will catch them a little bit faster. In this era of having pints and pints of casters and pints of maggots on your side trays, you'll be pleased to know that I've got literally a bag of 4mm and I've got a few 6mm just as a change bait for the hook. And all the staple feed is today is 4mm pellets. So like I said, we're fishing a 4mm in a band. We're firing 4mm in. It's probably 16 metres to this island here now, so we're comfy doing that. And like I said, we're going to rattle a few in with the pot. I'll show you in between in what scenarios we do different things. But that is basically as complicated as it gets today. We've got a few fish in our swim now, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you what we can do is, I've got a large pot on with the smallest hole what comes on top of it, just so it holds some pellets in. Just soak that under water so my pellets don't rattle out, and I'm hopefully going to show you how much easier and sometimes quicker it is to catch a fish when you're not feeding with a catapult against these islands. This island is 16 metres off us, like I've said. It's a bit of a nightmare sometimes with the distance and the tins. So what I'm going to do is ship out to where we need to be. I'll just get my distance. What I'm going to do before I've put my rig completely fully in is just rattle a few pellets out, just high up on the water so it's making a bit of noise, and just leave my rig sat there a second. Now we're probably fishing 12 inches deep at the minute. We've got a tiny little bit of shade off them tins, which I think is probably giving fish a little bit more confidence. We've not had a bite up to now. Just had an indication then. Rattle a couple more pellets in. Just give them fish something to see. And we're in. Sometimes it can just be that bit more efficient. You're not blasting bait all over your peg. Sometimes it's just a steady away approach what ends up the best way sometimes. Fight so hard, these fish. So what that pot's done, obviously we've got 4mm in that pot, it's just giving that concentrated area of noise for them fish to home in on. And obviously you're fishing 12 inches underneath it, you're straight in on your bait. Just get rid of all that muck. Well, another good fish, probably £5, £6. What I'll do, pellet's still okay because we've only just gone in on it. Get all this horrible fluff off my rig. Dunk that pot when you're shipping out because it just helps clump them pellets together when they're in your pot. just stop some rattling about and rattling out before you get to where you need to be. What I'm going to do, I've got our rig where it needs to be. I'm just going to turn that pot over and rattle a couple out. Just so we're back in the same area. Now obviously we've had a couple of pouches of pellets in between, but it might... See, that's brought a fish straight back in, and then pellets have nailed it down where we need to catch it. And we've caught it. It just shows you that even with shallow fishing up to an island like this, I mean, this is hard work when it comes to tins, and it's deep water, that you can use both to your advantage. Just to make yourself a bit more efficient. Not what has become apparent while we've been fishing today, that the fish are a bit livelier and probably a little bit bigger than what we remembered. It's been a while, so we've stepped up to the Nufish Black, which is a 12s, 14s, and it's perfect for them. Not using a puller, I've got enough give to land these fish. I'll concentrate while I get this one in the net. But no, it's perfect elastic for the job. We're not undergunning ourselves. It's a great match for the size of the fish that we're catching. Right, so we'll finish on this mint fish. We've had a great day on simple baits, simple rigs, and caught loads of them. Can't get much better.